Good morning, everyone. So nice that we can be together again. Today I have a few topics up for discussion. These are this is subject matter that we have covered in the past, but I'd like to do it again today because some of these stories continue to evolve over time. I'm going to try not to invest too much time in any one subject. Otherwise, we're going to run extremely long. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is the Mueller Report. There was this dossier that made all these kinds of allegations against the president, one of which that he hired prostitutes to pee on the bed of former President Obama, then President Obama. Really weird. I don't want to go into too much detail because it'll take too long. But anyway, there's been an investigation into the validity of the allegations made therein. And so for about 2 years, there has been claims that the president colluded with the Russians to rig the election against his opponent in 2016. And, I was a never Trumper, and I used my vote in the primaries to try to stop him. I really wanted a different candidate to run against the opposition, but I was never going to vote for the opposition. Never going to do that. So after the president won, I was relieved that Hillary Clinton wasn't going to become president, but I was also kind of worried about him becoming president. And I've told you before, I had a lot of bigoted friends on Facebook that held me responsible, like my one vote really threw the election for President Trump. So I got unfriended by a bunch of people. But anyway, these allegations that were made had me worried. I mean, what if this is true? Then there is yet another reason why it was a mistake to get this man elected. And so for 2 years, I was like, wow, what if it's true? What if it's true? I wasn't sure. I didn't know what to believe. There was this just ongoing drumbeat on CNN all day long about it. And then finally, the results of the investigation, the investigation is concluded and the results are in. There is a report by Special Counsel Bob Mueller that says there absolutely was no collusion, and he, in his report, didn't say whether there was obstruction or not, didn't say there was, didn't say there wasn't. So that has created an opportunity to continue this story that, okay, he hasn't colluded, they'll cede that point, they meaning the opposition, but they're not willing to let go of the fact that he might have obstructed. So now they want to see what's in the report. And this is just a story that's going to go on and on and on throughout his entire presidency until he leaves office in 2025. And I say 2025 because the way things are today, it's likely he is going to be reelected. In my lifetime, I've only known 2 presidents that did not get rewarded with a second term. So far, the circumstances are not like they were when those 2 presidents were not reelected. But it remains to be seen. So anyway, I'm just, I wish the story would end, but it's not going to. Too many people for too long. We're saying some really, making some real inflammatory comments about the president. They're not going to just now accept everything that's in that report. And so, I can kind of understand they're too invested in this, but really, you'd think that they could say, okay, well, We were mistaken, and we're actually relieved we're mistaken, and now let's just get on with things. But they're not going to do that. So that's that. The other thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about television again, because that's a subject that I covered a few weeks ago. It's a good time to talk about it now, because we just got through a somewhat political discussion. We're going to have another one after I get through talking to you about television. But a few weeks ago, I talked for quite some time about TV, and I'm going to do that a little bit again today and talk about a couple of things that I don't think I covered in that recording. And the reason why I'm bringing it up now is tomorrow the reboot of the series, the 1959 series, The Twilight Zone, will air on CBS All Access. The Twilight Zone was an anthology series. I think I talked about it. I'd like to share with you my 10 favorite episodes, but I'm not. I didn't prepare to do that today. But because it's an anthology series, every story is different, okay? And so there's a lot of good stories, and some of them weren't that good. You know, when you watch a regular scripted series, they're all about the same, but in an anthology series, because the topics could be so radically different from one episode to the next, it's easier to critique and say, these I like, these I don't like. But anyway, the series started in 1959, ran for 5 seasons for about 150-something episodes. And in 1959, there was no cable TV, there was no even color TV, there was no stereo, there was no surround sound, there was no HD, there was none of that. There was just black and white TV. And the show back then, like I said, was on free television on CBS, and I'm kind of a little bit annoyed that it's going to be on CBS All Access only, as far as I know. That, I believe, is a subscription service, so you have to pay and you have to stream the television show. This was a show that was born a terrestrial show, an over-the-air antenna television show, and I think that's how it should live. I don't think that it should be on CBS All Access. If it's going to be on CBS All Access, it should be on that service in addition to. And, you know, I understand it's a pay service, so you want to give the subscribers something that they wouldn't get if they were to watch it on regular free television over the air antenna TV. So why not just make these? I don't know if this is a 30-minute show or if it's going to be an hour-long program, but if it's the usual 30-minute show, which these days, I mean, back in the day, a 30-minute show had actually only about 4 or 5 minutes of commercials. Now we're down to like 8 or 9 minutes of commercials. So like a third of the TV shows today are commercials. So why not just make these shows 30 minutes long, okay, and then edit out about 8 or 9 minutes for commercials and air that on free TV, and then the people that subscribe, let them watch commercial-free the entire 30 minutes with no deleted scenes. That's how you do it. I really, you know, a lot of people are cord cutting in favor of streaming, so you know, a lot of people are getting away from cable and satellite TV to watch stuff on the internet because it's free or it's so much cheaper. But they're finding ways to just jack up the prices for streaming services, and there's less and less free services. There's like Pluto TV and I think Roku TV. There's a lot of content on those platforms that are streaming platforms, and they're free. But we really, I don't know where we're headed, but cable TV, you know, looking back, was never all that great, because really all it was nationwide channels that were available throughout the country, but it was basically the same thing. I mean, the programs had commercials inserted into them, so they already had advertisers supporting the airing of these shows. And on top of that, these networks, these cable channels, were being paid by the cable providers a few dollars a month for each subscriber that they had. I think that's how it worked. But all I know is we were paying to watch these shows, and the advertisers were paying to advertise on these shows. So they were making a lot of money, and it seems just like corporate greed to me. I don't like that. I really don't like it. I could kind of understand if you're in a business, you're going to want to maximize your profits. But man, we are just being squeezed for every nickel and dime. We're able to be convinced to pay out. I just think it's wrong. So anyway, moving on. Last subject that I want to cover today is something else that I talked about a few weeks ago that I thought wasn't really even all that interesting to talk about, but I did it, and here I am talking about it again because the story continues to develop. And I thought it was over then, but it's this case against Jussie Smollett. I'm going to try to talk about where we're at now rather than where we were at then. But where I left off on when I last discussed this was that I believe that he shouldn't do jail time, and that he would probably, or he should probably do some community service and be fined an amount equal to all the hours of investigation that were put in to only lead to finding out that he had perpetrated a hoax. Now, it's been said this week, I believe Monday or Tuesday, or I should say Monday or Tuesday of last week, because it's now Sunday, it's the new week, but it was said that all the charges were going to be dropped against him. He was going to get off scot-free. And he faced the cameras and gave a little press conference and said that he didn't apologize. He didn't say, I'm sorry. He could have said, I'm sorry that this has all happened, and I'm really sorry for any expense that may have been incurred as a result of any of my actions. And even in saying that, he's not saying I'm wrong. All he's saying is I'm sorry if anything I did created this expense. He didn't do any of that. I think he might have given thanks, and that's about it. But he kind of, as I say, doubled down on his accusation. He said he had always been truthful. He shouldn't even have gone there. He shouldn't even have talked about whether he had been honest or not. So, I'm really appalled by that. And don't misunderstand, I'm not really so angry with him. I'm just really angry with the justice system because, and again, this is something else that I talked about recently in another recording. I had talked about the two tiers of the justice system, the justice systems for the haves and the justice system for the have-nots, all right? Because a lot of people think that the justice system is adverse to minorities, and particularly black people. Well, Jussie Smollett is black, and yet he's getting off scot-free. O.J. Simpson was black. He got off scot-free. And he, it's pretty much widely believed that he murdered two people, and he got away with it. So it's not the color of your skin, okay? It's the money you have. That is what creates influence and opportunities for people. And this is, a person who is wealthy, all right? He's an actor, so he is well-connected or can get well-connected. And so nothing is going to happen to him, and I just don't think it's fair. And I look at my own situation, okay? Let me tell you a little bit about that. All right, I've not been convicted of anything or threatened with arrest, but there have been, I've had some run-ins with the law in a way, and you would, I would hope that maybe I would get some breaks. Everybody who is guilty of something wants to be exonerated and mitigate any action that's taken against them. That's understandable. So I don't fault Mr. Smollett for that. Okay, I can understand why he would want to, mitigate anything that happens to him. But I still think that it's important that the government treat everyone the same. And that is not happening. So either you throw the book at them or you don't. All right, but if you don't throw the book at them, don't throw the book at me. All right, and again, I haven't been charged with any kind of crime, and I'm sorry if I'm giving that impression. But I have wanted breaks from government, and I haven't gotten it, none. And I think up to a recent situation where I had gotten a license because I'm an adjuster, but I'm not working as an adjuster. So I got my license, and I'm working in a different field, and I got to get my continuation education credits, and I haven't done that. So I am now delinquent, and to now reinstate myself, I got to pay a $250 fee. Well, that's pretty punitive. That's pretty exorbitant, Maybe it isn't for somebody who's working as an adjuster and who's making a bundle of money. It may not be a big deal, but for me it is, and I've called them and I've explained the situation, and I've told them, look, I haven't made a dime off of this license. I haven't been monitoring the situation because I'm not working in that field. Do you think they've cut me a break? No, they don't. They don't. Another situation, that's the state. And then there's a situation that I have with the city in the state where they required me to get an occupational license just for renting out a property. That's all. I'm just renting out the property. I need a license for that. Okay, fine. So I buy the license. And one thing that I didn't know at the time, and this is probably going back like over 10 years ago, but one thing I didn't know at the time is when you get a license, it's just like a driver's license. It expires. You got to renew it, and you got to pay fees associated with its renewal. Every license is like that. I didn't know that, so I bought the license once, and I thought I was done. I was told I needed it, and I got it. Now, every year it was up for renewal, and I didn't know. I didn't pay the fee. I don't even remember if I got a statement for it. Maybe it was something I was supposed to do automatically. I don't know. I remember getting statements early on. But when I didn't pay it, I started getting charged late fees to the tune of $10 a day. Not a month, a day. Until my fees, instead of being like 100, I don't know, maybe 100 to 300 bucks for a year, swelled up to over $10,000, and they filed a lien against my property. All right, and I have tried to resolve this. I have sent emails, I have called, I have gone back and forth with these people. It's gotten me nowhere. All right, and there's little details I'm not going to go into because I don't want to spend too much time on this. But I know it's good. Eventually I'm going to have to make good on this, and it's going to cost me a lot more money than it should have. And it really bothers me when I see people like this that engage in a deliberate act. All right, there's going to be no trial or anything, so it's not really proven, but it's been said that he made this stuff up. All right, he did this on purpose. He mailed threatening letters to himself. That's a federal crime. That's not even something that any charges in Chicago could bring against them, because now when you mail something, you're using the federal mail system. So now there still may be charges against him. This isn't over for him, and I feel badly because I think the federal charges, if any are brought against him, wouldn't have been brought against him had, Chicago done what they were supposed to do and had done something to him. They want, I believe, the overtime hours that were spent to investigate the crimes against him or the potential crimes he may have committed. I don't know, but I think it comes up to like $130,000, and he doesn't want to pay it, and that's probably a drop in the bucket to him. And he doesn't want to pay it. So I really think that he should just, come clean, fess up, and apologize. The fact that I don't think anybody believes this really happened to him, and he just keeps fighting any type of punishment just is going to make him look worse, and there's just going to be like that's going to become part of his legacy. But we'll see how it all pans out. But I can't blame him for trying to fight it. I mean, I've tried to fight what's happened to me. But what bothers me is that I know that in the end, it's not going to go well for me. I know that I have to pay this $250. There's no, okay, well, we'll reduce the fee or anything. No, I got to pay it in full. That's just the way it is. And I just feel like I got like the boot of Uncle Sam, like crushing my neck because I'm a nobody, Yet this person, he's not going to do any time. He's not going to do any community service. He's not going to do anything. It just doesn't seem fair. So anyhow, I want to thank you for watching and listening and hopefully agreeing with everything I have said. That is all I have for you today. Until we meet again, we're done.
Thanks for watching. I appreciate your curiosity to hear what I have to say. Whether you agree with it or not, I want you to know I'm always thinking about a variety of issues and sharing them with you. You may not agree with me this time, but next time you will, and vice versa. It is important that you subscribe to my videos because they are the best kept online secret. You may never find them again, and I would like us to remain in touch. That means not only subscribing, but giving a video a thumbs up when you agree and commenting when you don't. I'm also interested in reading and replying to what you think.